Welcome to Lifestyle by SK, where wine, cigars, and relationships create that tapestry of extraordinary experience. And on today's episode, people, we're going to be talking about prenuptial agreements. And there is a reason specifically why I am talking about this particular part of what goes into a marriage that couples should most definitely discuss. But I want to lay out a story for you. I want to be able to lay this out where it's not in a way to offend anyone, but it is a way to definitely make sure that the point is well taken and the point definitely hits hard. And so, what I want to start out with is a couple of different things because this can definitely, most definitely get out of hand, as we know, right? And as we're talking about this whole thing about prenuptial agreements, a lot of times you will have the women will not be wanting that. The men are the ones wanting it to make sure that they protect what they have in the event if something happens. Now, how we get to that point, that's going to be a very, very interesting thing because you have to understand this. Marriage is a beautiful thing. It is an absolute beautiful thing. It is definitely a very, very high point of a milestone that people can come together to form a union together, which then when you're looking on the other part of that, another significant milestone of that is the significant financial journey that you all will go through and the legal commitment as well. And where we get into the problems at is when the finances start becoming a problem, then it definitely becomes a legal issue. And we just want to basically be able to explore that today in this episode. So I want to throw a couple of stories at you, get your minds thinking, and be able to talk to you all about the transparency of not only protecting your assets and debts as well, because people do got debt coming into marriages nowadays, but this should definitely most definitely help couples to be able to build trust with one another to make sure that you both are in it for the long run. You're both in it for to death do you part. But whether you're considering marriage or you are curious, this conversation most definitely needs to be heard. And so, what brought this conversation up to me is as I was scrolling down my feed, just looking at some of the videos that I normally would look at, I noticed I kept getting this football player pop up, and I had no idea who he was. I thought it was Deion Sanders' son, and finally a name started coming up. Started talking about Travis Hunter, and there was other videos as well and other content out there talking about the same story. Why are they bringing this young man up? Because I've never heard of him. I am not a sports fan. I do not care anything about sports. I can much be doing much more productive stuff. But what got me about this is they was talking about the comment that his current fiance had actually said, and that just made me think, hmm, I wonder what people really think about in terms of prenups. And they're just now finding this out according to him because they've been together for a long time. Now, I want to shift the goalpost for a second. And I want us to specifically look at the prenuptial agreement. So, as I did just what any other person would do, I started looking online. And coincidentally, there is an American author by the name of Travis Hunter as well. And he's the author of urban fiction. And he had his first novel, which was The Hearts of Men in 2000 through his own company. And what was very, very interesting is there was another couple of novels that he wrote. 'Cause he had 8 more novels. And there was one of his most recent novels was titled Married but Not Really in 2018, self-published by his company, Jim Rose Publishing House. But this isn't the Travis Hunter that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Travis Hunter that is the football player. Now, as we look into the comment that people are saying that his fiance said, I want to focus on the grander aspect of this, people. When we are looking at prenups, people assume that they're only for the rich and famous. And I can see that point because you see it so much in the news and you're trying to understand what in the world am I getting myself into? Now, as I'm looking at this, I do understand being an adult that when people are combining resources together, they're looking to be married, they should definitely have some type of an agreement. If that still does not make sense to you, think of it in terms of business. If you are a small business owner, would you go and do business with someone else without a contract? Would you drive off the car lot in a brand new car without insurance? They're not going to let you off the lot until you sign those papers before leaving the lot. Even if you're dropping cash, they're going to make you sign some agreements before you leave that lot. The world is just built on rules, contracts, negotiations, and things of that nature to protect the parties of interest. And that is what we have to look for when we're thinking about the prenuptial agreement. Fellas, ladies, this is not rocket science at all. This is to make sure that what you come in with is what you leave with. Now, how people dissect that up in terms of who is going to get what is outlined in the structured document. So in the event if something happens that you all separate or you breach the contract, there are rules and regulations behind that, and that is just the nature of business. Now, when we are looking at the simplistic terms of that, when you're looking at divorces, we know that this comes into a couple things. We're looking at how it covers assets. We're looking at how it covers debt. If you're wanting the finances, ladies, are you going to assume the debt that that man may have from whatever it is that he's bringing to the table? And as well as you too, because we all know that we're coming into relationships with debt. And that's a whole nother story that I have some comments on, because how can you build together as a couple if you're not accepting each other's debt? Think about it for a second. You both making $40,000 a year. You're bringing in $80,000 to the household. You got $200,000 worth of debt. Why can't you all bring your debt together to work together to pay that off so that you can move forward and build a foundation for your family? I always like to talk about that in my episodes. But when we're looking at the inheritance, that who knows what you're coming into the marriage with? Your spouse could be coming in with additional access to real estate ventures that their parents may have done. They may have a trust fund. They may have business interests. You have to protect your family's legacy. You have to protect what you're coming in there with, because you better believe, fellas, that if the ladies are coming into the relationship with something of significant value, they are going to want to protect it. You know, their aunties are going to talk to them. You know, their mother is going to talk to them. They are going to make sure that you don't get anything out of that, and they're going to make sure some form of prenup is there. What I'm definitely, most definitely saying without any filters is, fellas, you most definitely have to protect yourself, especially if you're going to be coming into some things of significant value. And it just makes it much harder when you are much more on the rich to wealthy side. However, if you're coming to the table with some things of value, and I'm saying this to both the ladies and the fellas, ladies, if you are coming into the relationship with a man that is not doing or doesn't have as much as you, and your family is very well off, have a prenup. Fellas, if you're coming into the marriage with a family who's well off and the lady doesn't have anything, get a prenup. It is the same for both sides. It is not going to be one sided. Now, people miss the understanding of prenups, and hopefully, none of you will have to have that contract pulled up because you all decide to get divorced. Hopefully, people can live long, successful marriages. But what I want to make sure that we understand is we have to not only protect the individual assets acquired before marriage, you actually need to make sure that you have that in contract form. So that way, nobody is going to get their things taken away from them that they have earned before you even got involved in the situation. Now, financial expectations and all that kind of stuff can definitely reduce future conflicts, because you know if you mess up, there's going to be some things that are going to get addressed through the contract, people. Do not be anyone out here just going out here doing things at the drop of a dime, and you're not even trying to protect yourself nor protect the things that your family has worked so hard for. Because who's to say that there is a mother that's out here and she sees that her son is about to go pro? Why wouldn't a mother want to make sure that her son's future is protected? Ladies, think about if it was your son. If your son was going to get married, would you want to protect the legacy of your family, your son's assets, before he got involved with someone else? That is just the nature of the story. It doesn't matter if you're a pro football player. It doesn't matter if you're a pro basketball player. It doesn't matter if you work at Walmart and you in executive leadership, whatever the case may be. If you have something that you know that's going to be for the better and it's going to be extensive, it's going to be a good thing for you, you want to make sure that whoever that you are getting involved with is in it for just more than love, because love is not going to just pay those bills. At the first of the month, I dare any of you to respond back to your light company, water company, and gas company, tell them that you're going to pay your bills out of love, because they're going to laugh at you. But we have to make sure that we are setting ourselves up for a good and excellent financial future if we're going to be together. But there has to be some things set in place first, because divorce is things that people do not want, but the prenup serves as a safeguard against the unexpected circumstances that people may run into, especially the passing of a spouse. So when we're looking at this, we need to most definitely make sure that we talk about addressing the stigma of prenups, because people will sometimes say it's unromantic or it means that you're planning for a divorce. No, you're planning for, in the event if something happens. Because think about it. If you have a vehicle, a car of some sort, or I'm just going to say a automobile, because some people may not drive cars, whatever. But say in the event if you have an automobile, the insurance company is not going to allow you to drive that car. The law enforcement will not allow you to drive that car without it being properly registered, properly insured. Because if something happens in the contract, it says exactly what is going to happen. You have a wreck, you're going to have to pay the deductible in order to get a new vehicle. We need to do the same thing with marriage, and people are scared because they are so stuck on love. Love is going to solve everything, and it is not. People, please protect yourself and really think about this. Seek counsel. Seek official legal counsel. I'm not talking about your mother, your father. I'm talking about legal counsel, somebody who is not only certified but skilled in the area of law, who can provide you the proper legal guidance and how this should pan out. Definitely counseling if you both can go to it, and definitely you all should already have your own attorneys anyway to draft this thing up for you. Because when you go into a situation like this and you know that if something happens and you didn't sign a prenup, you know it's going to work in your favor, it's going to be a big problem. It's going to be a heck of a big problem, because now you are hiding the ability for you all to foster open communication with each other and the financial transparency amongst each other, because you're hiding that. Because people will go out here and sleep around, but you know what? You start talking about finances, you start talking about holding people accountable. That's where we're going to have a big, big problem at. Because think about it. Your homegirls see you about to get married to somebody that's about to make some money. Ooh, they cheering you on, ladies. They are cheering you on. Girl, you hit the lottery. You hit it big. But you better believe, ladies, if you are in a better financial position than that man, you better believe the homegirl is going to make sure that her homegirl does not get caught standing there without some form of contract to make sure that man doesn't take anything from her. And I'm just asking that it just needs to be equal on both sides when it comes to this, people. Whether you're high up there in the ranks or you're not, and you all are coming together to build something needs to be drafted up to protect you both. But we have to foster that communication around that because that's one thing that we are so scared to do. Now, when you're looking at who should get a prenup, everybody that's entering a marriage should be getting a prenup. They should be getting them because when you entering marriage, it can actually benefit. So it's not just those with substantial wealth. You're being able to protect the things that you have worked hard for before that person got there. Even if that person was sitting in the rut with you, you're making sure that things are protected in the proper manner. Now, definitely, as I said, fellas, ladies, sit down and have a respectful conversation with your partner. Look at your life right now. Is your life going for the better? Are you looking to open up businesses? Are you looking to do much more things? Are you looking to even grow to make more money than what you currently make right now? And if your life is looking to be more positive because you're acquiring more things of significant value, then what is the matter with you taking the time to sit down, consult with an attorney, and get this ironed out so that you can put your best 2 feet forward so that you don't get destroyed on the back end? There are too many examples out here. There are so many examples up here because the importance of the prenuptial agreement as a tool for protect it's just most definitely to protect both parties. I do not believe without a shadow of a doubt that because you do a prenup that you're planning to not work it out with your partner. Ladies, fellas, I'm talking to the both of you. Investigate this. Look at this because life just happens, things happen. But what you don't want to do is go through something and you don't work so hard for something in your life and you can't even seek professional legal counsel to help them tailor specific things regarding your prenup to your specific situation because you are so scared to do so because you're wondering what your homegirls may think or what your homeboys may think. And the thing is, I believe there are more women who actually talk to their homegirls if they are in a particular type of financial position about getting this. Fellas, we see it once they make it big, but still, this needs to be talked about on a smaller scale because it will save you so much time, resources, legal fees, and all of that. But definitely, you all share your thoughts below on prenups in the comments. I definitely want to hear from you all. I definitely want to bring this conversation up again. I would so love to get some people on a panel so that we can most definitely discuss this. So I may just start taking some applications about that there because I wanted to be able to bring these conversations up in this particular situation here that I was looking at because, like I said, I don't know that young man for anything. I don't know his fiance for anything. But I want you all to think about this for a second. Before that young man got to where he's at, how many women turned him down? Could it have been that other women have turned him down as well, but this is the first woman that's actually stepped up to the plate and she ended up winning? Think about that for a second because this is bigger than them. This is a conversation that anybody getting married and jumping the broom should be having. We have to have honest, open, and respectful dialogue with one another. And instead of tearing each other down like we're doing on the web, online, we should be embracing each other to actually have a conversation. Because I get it, and people can change anytime. Who knows? I could probably change at any time regarding how I do these particular stories. But I felt the need that I wanted to bring something of value to the conversation so that there can be a discussion around this. Because it just definitely doesn't need to be one sided. People are going to marry who they want to marry. They've already made their decision. But before they made the decision, did they seek the proper legal counsel? So, people, like, listen, and subscribe to the channel. Lifestyle by SK, where wine, cigars, and relationships create that tapestry of extraordinary experience. You all already know. Have a good one.